worst route ever. Give me a suicidal last stand. At least that'd happen here.
With the remake renaissance we currently experience in the gaming industry, people like me who were still in a liquid state when many of the classics released, get to experience those decade-old masterpieces in the dress of modern technology through the hands of passionate developers. And because Square Enix answered the budget question for the remake of probably one of the best RPGs ever made with a solid yes, we will get not only one but a trilogy of reimaginations that are each full of enough content to overshadow many standalone releases. In the first entry of the trilogy, simply named Remake, you begin your journey as the former Shinra soldier Cloud Strife, who joins Avalanche, a group of radical eco-activists led by Barrett Wallace, who wants to stop Shinra from harvesting the planet's energy called Mako. To reach their goal, instead of gluing or chaining themselves to the reactors, they decide to infiltrate one of the facilities and blow up one of the reactors. In correlation to the incident, Cloud begins to see visions of the past, and Shinra comes up with a plan to drop a part of the so-called plate onto the slums of Sector 7. And this is only the beginning of the plot, and what happens next would go way too much into spoiler territory. But let me tell you that this game will hook you with an engaging plot that will get you excited for what will follow in the future. Especially considering how much depth the writers are giving each of your companions, with a lot of flashbacks and side stories. The main gameplay is the hack and slash combat, with a few twists that make it much more unique, with the biggest one probably being the materia, which is Final Fantasy VII's system to earn magic, skills and buffs. The materia orbs can be found, earned or simply bought at several shops throughout the campaign, and are attached to your weapons and equipment. But what appealed most to me was how versatile the combat is, because every single one of your party members does not only have a completely unique set of moves, but also their own entirely different combat style. For example, the main character Cloud's moveset mainly consists of fast-paced dashes and slashes with his Buster Sword, while Barrett acts more slowly and tanky, with his main damage output being the several fire modes for his gun arm. Besides the main story and combat, there's not too much optional content in this game, which makes Final Fantasy VII Remake feel much more linear than many other RPGs released over the last decade. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially if additional missions would only water down the experience. And yes, there are some closed areas where you have the option to fulfill some side quests. But even though I haven't played this game too long ago, the only side quest I remember is one where you help some kids in the slums. But to leave the tiny disgusting pile of negatives again, the game looks Final Fantasy typical gorgeous, with many jaw-dropping sceneries throughout the entire campaign. Even though the most jaw-dropping moment including the game happened between the Italian Senate and Cloud's childhood friend Tifa. So to sum things up, I simply enjoyed my time with Final Fantasy VII Remake. And if this game at least somewhat captures how it felt to play the original back in the day, I think I get why so many people love this game. And if you're like me and have never had any contact with this game before, thanks to Square Enix going above and beyond to overhaul and to rebuild it to modern standards, if action RPGs somewhat appeal to you, in my opinion, you should give the first part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake a try. If you watched until now, thank you for that. Maybe consider liking and subscribing if you don't want to miss any future videos. And I hope to see you next time.